Good evening, Lit Lane. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome back to the channel. I am Demetra Lit All Day. This is the Demetra Lit All Day channel. And this is Trial Watch with me, Demetra. If you've been catching this on the replays and following along in the playlist, I want to say thank you. Make sure you guys are liking the video and never be shy to leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know your thoughts. Become a part of the Little Lane Jury Box. If you're joining me on this live, of course, let's participate. Let's get these theories out here. Let's get our opinions, our questions, our concerns. Let's get all that into the atmosphere. Please like this video. Hey, Renee, you're first. And Rock is right here. Rock. And Renee say, hey. Girl, he got his back turned to me, okay? He got his back turned to me. That means he done tucked all in. Tonight is going to be a very interesting night. I say that every night with this case. And guess what? I haven't been made a liar yet. We are on part 8. Tonight I anticipate. I'm so glad I was able to get here on time. Right at 6 o'clock. That means we're going to be able to get through a lot of different footage. And I'm hoping, it is my hope, that we can actually get through the state closing. You know, if we get to the last witness for the state tonight, we're going to be making good time, hey Winter, with this trial watch. And we're going to be almost lining up just in time with tomorrow being Friday. To deliberate while the actual jury is deliberating. Let me check something real quick. Cause y'all know I don't be wanting to get too far ahead of the case myself. Let me check real quick. Let me check real quick at how were they at in the trial. I know yesterday the let me see. Let me read this here. Day 4. Yeah, we should be making good time. Well, we almost caught up with and actually gonna be in real time caught up with the trial. We did really good, especially this last day or so, because I figured out some ways to actually get the clips and stuff faster. So we'll be even better in a good position for the next trial. You know, you live and learn as you go through. Let me take this down right here. No, wrong thing. I hope y'all had a good day today. I had a great day today with my grandkids. Both of them, the school is out, so both of them was here. Y'all know I get the grand girl kind of on a regular basis. But that grand boy of mine, I don't get him as often because he's in school. And baby, every time my grand boy is over here, it's always something different. It is always something different. He never sit down. You know, like when I think about it today, he never sits down ever. He always moving, grooving, doing stuff, asking questions, looking at stuff, messing with stuff. Boys are very different, but we had a great day today. Believe it or not, the Disney classics, they be thinking they don't want to see them, but when I get them and put them on anyway, they always love them. Today we watched the Disney classic Robin Hood with the fox, and if I tell you they was enthralled in that, they really were. And they always be like, no, we don't want to watch that. No, they watch it and they enjoy it. So tonight we're gonna start off where we left off last night on the case. We had just heard the state finish direct questioning of, I thought it was the SWAT officer, but it was one of the response, like the warrant officer. So we saw a body cam of when they went to the house to apprehend the suspect after he had been on the run for a month. Okay, ever since the day of the shooting, he had been on the run. They had a $5,000 bond out for his apprehension. And so somebody called and reported him in, hiding in the house. They issued the warrant and popped up to the house with a SWAT team. They say he was hiding in the cubbyhole. Again, we saw footage from the guy. He wasn't actually on the SWAT team. He was an outside officer, but he taped it from the outside. We saw the cops bring somebody out. We saw that gentleman, but it was not the defendant. It was somebody else in the house. So we then go on to see the same officer go in the house and look for weapons. At that time, on the body cam, we see him discover and bring in an AR pistol and an AR sawed-off, an AR pistol and a sawed-off shotgun. We saw both of these guns taken from the house. Okay? We saw the defendant, Quinton, when he was objecting, he was objecting to those two guns being allowed to be put into evidence because they wasn't the guns used in the crime. Hey, Louisiana Red, good to see you, girl. You've been stirring things up. Good to see you. Glad you came through. So we saw that, and at the time when he made the objection to have those two guns put out. Hey, Sassy Francis, we are on time tonight, y'all. We on time. We on time. I need to share the video because I know my notifications don't really go out. I hope everybody had a good day. Let me really quickly stop talking because I can't talk and do stuff. Let me share that we live. We live, y'all. Boom. That helps. And let me turn on my monetization. I already have it up. I'm a little bit ahead. Content. Glad y'all can join. Glad y'all can join. Let me. How I do this? Not like that. Yeah. Right here. Hey, Jill, girl. I was waiting on you. Y'all know last night at one point it was getting kind of good, and I was like, I say, dang. I say, Sunshine gonna have to catch up on all this on the replay, because I noticed, that she couldn't make it last night. And so Sunshine left me a comment today, a couple of comments, and she was catching up on the replay. And I was like, girl, I thought about you last night when we was talking about everything. Let me see. Don't forget there is a playlist, so if you ever get behind or want to rehear something, definitely go check it out on the replay. And you know what? It kind of made me feel so good. I saw somebody, I've had like 2 comments from people who don't really like necessarily drop down on Lit Lane or is not familiar with Lit Lane. And they watching and following the trial with Lit Lane. So that's always exciting to see new subscribers and new people that's actually enjoying the content. Glad to see you. Remember, they forgot Don't Mess with Texas, I guess, in living color. My dear, glad to be here. Oh, no problem. Let me monetize this video. I've been saying that for a minute and I ain't done it yet. Let me hit it. Let me complete the task. Okay, let me see. Get YouTube balanced, save. Okay, done. I had to get to bed last night. I had to catch up on what I missed last night after I left. Girl, you probably missed them taking them guns out that house, but really tonight is when I think we're going to see, I anticipate us being able to see. Sunshine, I was just talking about you, girl. Hey, Lady Steph, I was waiting on you, girl. Now, we ain't double stepped yet. Step 219, that's when I'm double stepping. Like double stepping, 2-stepping. Tonight, we going to get to see. We got to see. We going to get to it, right? That's why I was determined to get here on time. We going to see the interrogation video. And let me tell y'all, I do not give. Oh, you going to still tap me on my hand? Y'all, I wrote Louisiana Red comments yesterday. I was messing with her. But I really wanted to kind of trip her up to call him VS, Longhead VS. And she fell for it. It was so funny. I gagged. I cracked up. She caught it after she said it. It was funny though. But leave me alone. That shit was funny, lady stuff. You know I be pulling. You know I be pulling it. I say, yeah, you got to be more careful. Tonight we will see the interrogation film, okay? And if I tell y'all, we still gonna see the EMT video from in the ambulance. We gonna see the emergency room video. I don't know who in that ambulance. I don't know who in the emergency room because I try to watch it with y'all. We gonna see Quinton's actual interrogation film, and let me tell y'all, jail has did him very well. Okay, jail has served Quinton to come back into the land of the living. Okay, when you see the interrogation film and see him, he don't look nothing like he look now. He looks horrible. Okay, he looked like meth head Quinton. Okay. Okay, now let me put the chat on. Let me put my chat on, and we're gonna go ahead and get started because I don't want to hold y'all too long without getting started here. All right, so we're gonna get started where we left off last night, and that's gonna be with that the SWAT, one of the SWAT officers. You were steady commenting. That's what I was saying. No, you're not blocked. Hello, FLH, Faith, Love, Hope. No, you're not blocked. I see you. Welcome to Trial Watch with Demetra. We're watching the state of Ohio versus Quinton Nixon. This is part 8. We've been deep diving in this real case that's happening right now in Cleveland. They're accusing the defendant of unaliving by gun the victim Tony Westover. 7 people in one house. They have been on a days-long drug binge. Okay. No. On the interrogation pictures, y'all gonna see on the interrogation. I can't be talking like that because my honey here. Okay, so y'all won't be hearing me say he fine and nothing like that. Okay, I gotta hold that type of commentary down tonight. Of course, I want to handle this commentary with respect to the victim. This is a real life loss. A real child lost their mother. I definitely keep that in mind. But of course, the commentary will be that we just go with the flow and just call things how it is here on Lit Lane. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this footage. We're going to have a new person on the stand. I think it's going to be actually the SWAT officer, but we're going to see. Let me open it up. Oh, why did it close out? Okay, one moment. We on P2. Okay. That's why his elections are so relayed. Right. Because this happened in 2022 and it's 2024. In other news, while I'm pulling this video up, I heard tonight, I was watching on, one of my favorite channels, Court TV on here, YouTube channels, and I was watching an update on P. Diddy, Sean Combs, and he actually has a trial date. His trial date is scheduled for May 5th, 2025, and y'all know I'm going to be all over that trial. And one of my outside the sector content creators, Sean Davey Way, he actually going to be in the court. He posted that. I reshared it on my wall. So I'm excited for his content. I'm excited for us to be covering that in the spring of 2025. And by spring of 2025, I'll be a professional at these trial watches. Okay? And y'all know I've always wanted to get into one of the trials here in Houston. When they have a big trial, I want to be able to go to one day.
Lieutenant Todd Sinsley, SI.
Okay, why is it not
and SLEY, City Back Police Department.
How long have you been with City Back Police Department?
Oh, just I got the wrong thing.
And you say that you're a lieutenant?
I am.
How long have you been a lieutenant?
Almost 2 years.
Okay.
There we go. Let me rewind it. Let me fix the speed. Lady T, you on time? We just not getting started. I was trying to hold up for you, girl. I was trying to wait for you, girl. We just getting started. I'm just getting it queued up. Let me cut my phone down. Hey, Silky Black, see. Everybody showing up. Step 219. She should be coming, but she be coming like a couple of minutes behind. Child away. Ashley hit that ground, baby. I flatlined. I know, and I say, let me not laugh. Sometimes I feel like, dang, I shouldn't be laughing because somebody lost their life, but you know, it's no disrespect intended. You know what I'm saying? That shit was funny when she hit that ground. The only people that hit the ground like that was Ashley and Quinton. They both hit the ground, took a fall. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Okay, I got that on here. Let me take down Ashley picture. No, Tony picture. And we're going to get started. Tony. Boom. All right, let's get this going. I'm going to push play. Did I fix this? All right. Let me know if y'all can hear it when it starts. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Part 8. Trial watch with Demetra. In the Little Lane jury box. Who was that said last night? We're going to have to do better than that. We don't know the caliber of bullets or nothing. I think that was Lady T. She said we got to get a little bit more cognizant.
Do you solemnly swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Go ahead and have a seat. You may proceed. Will you please state your name, spelling your last name for the record?
Lieutenant Todd Sensley, SINSLEY, City of Akron Police Department.
How long have you been with the City of Akron Police Department?
That was a purse.
Just shy of 23 years.
And you stated you're a lieutenant?
I am.
How long have you been a lieutenant?
Almost 2 years.
Okay. And what was your prior position prior?
Uh-oh. Did it go black on y'all? Let me see. Oh, no, y'all can still see it.
What was your prior position?
I was a sergeant in the patrol shift at the time.
Okay. And that is your title. What unit are you in?
I'm in the Anti-Violence Bureau, and I'm the commander of the Street Narcotics Uniform Detail and the Gun Violence Reduction Tactical Team, and I'm also the SWAT commander.
Okay.
Champion
What is
Renee.
the Street Narcotics Uniform Detail? Is that SNUD?
It is SNUD unit. It's primarily
Hey, the beef.
a street-level narcotics unit.
Yeah, I'm finna close my door. The dog's
Investigations can
opening my
vary
door.
From street level all the way up to major drug offenses. We do search warrants. We do confidential informants, stuff like that.
Prior to becoming the commander of that unit, were you actually in that unit for a number of
I
years?
was. I've been a detective, a sergeant, and now the lieutenant in that unit.
Okay. And what year did you start in that unit?
2011.
Okay. And then you talked about the gun violence reduction tactical.
Yes, the GBRTT is easiest to say.
Thank you.
That's a unit that's made up of ATF agents and City of Akron police detectives whose primary focus
Good
is
evening,
to deal with
Sharice.
Violent crime in the City of Akron.
Hope everybody had a good
primarily
day.
gun
Thank y'all for
related crime.
joining. Don't forget to hit the like.
And another thing, you said you are what in SWAT?
I am the commander of the SWAT team.
Okay, and SWAT is special
Weapons and
tactics.
Tactics.
Okay. Okay. What type of training or education have you had to be on the Akron Police Department and all those commander positions?
I have a bachelor's from Kent State University. I had 6 months in the academy. I've been to DEA school. I've been to SWAT team leader school.
Now, why he giving his
I've been to several
accreditations?
narcotics trainings.
You know, yesterday we had a
I've been to,
31-year senior
gang
officer,
and gun.
and we
interdiction
decided we
trainings,
wasn't happy with his
several-
testimony
and
at all.
yearly trainings that
Okay,
the city makes us go
so
through.
let's see if this 3-year
Okay.
officer
So I
do
wanna
better.
focus on your commander of SWAT.
Yes.
Okay, not
SWAT
SNUD,
team.
GBRT right now, SWAT. Okay, I want to talk about SWAT in general. How does SWAT get involved in any type of case or called out to any type of scene?
We can be called out from patrol supervision who deem that the call needs special weapons and tactics. Usually that involves somebody who's armed or barricaded in a house, or somebody that poses a risk to patrol, that they don't have the tactics or tools necessarily to deal with that particular individual.
Tell the court how you get to a scene. How do you mobilize? How do you go?
So once the decision's been made that the SWAT team's going to be called out, then a page goes out. All the members of the team, there's usually around 40 of us on the team at any given time, we'll get notified via our cell phones. We'll respond to the radio room, let them know that we're en route, and then we proceed to the scene. Usually it's close, but not right at the location, and we set up a command post.
And is it fair to say that can take some time?
It usually takes around 30 to 40 minutes, depending on what.
I am not badgering the jurors, okay? Hey, I am not badgering the jurors.
A command post?
Yes.
What is that?
It's just an area. Usually, it's.
I started cross-examining y'all last night.
It's like a motorhome almost, where we have TVs, computers, stuff in it, tools that the SWAT negotiators can use to try to make contact with our individuals that we might be dealing with. And then it also has all of the equipment and tools that the SWAT team itself would need, like less lethal gas or chemical munitions, breaching tools, mirrors, other electronics we might need.
Okay. You talked about electronics, and there's a lot of stuff in that truck that you set up, the command post. Do you all wear body-worn cameras?
We do not. The SWAT team does not.
Oh,
The SWAT
man.
team, no member on the SWAT team wears a body-worn camera when you go out.
They do not.
Why not?
Let me just ask one more time. On July 25th, 2022, did any members on the SWAT team have on body-worn cameras?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'm sorry. On August the 24th, 2022, did any member?
I knew what you meant.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you. But for the
they
record.
did not. Yes.
Okay, August 24th. Okay, so we got to August 24th. Let me turn your attention to that day. Did you receive a call out or page regarding 525 Gridley Avenue?
I did.
Is that in Summit County, Ohio?
Yes.
Tell the court about that.
I was at home. I was asleep when the page went out. I was a sergeant at the time that this occurred. I responded, and sergeants are usually primarily delegated to be team leaders. Captain Yowie at the time was the commander of the SWAT team. I arrived, spoke with him, and I became a team leader for the reaction team on the rear of the house. So once I got that assignment, I gathered SWAT operators as they would get there, assigned them to less lethal chemical munitions.
Sorry about the
we
sound
had
things.
mirrors, we had breaching equipment, and we had a less lethal shotgun in addition to a taser.
How did the call go out?
Patrol had received information that Mr. Nixon was inside of this house on Gridley, that he had a murder warrant for his arrest, and that they were, in addition to the warrant, and had confirmed through the homeowner and resident that he was inside. They were also typing a search warrant for the residence, which was in progress when I arrived on scene.
Okay. So when you get on scene, do you get briefed about what's going on?
We do.
Does that happen like at the command post before your team gets set up?
It does. Patrol briefs us on what they've been doing, how long they've been trying to make contact with the subject. Usually we're using the cruiser's PA system until we get our negotiators on scene, and then they have Bluetooth speakers that are large and are able to keep them a safe distance away from the scene as they announce and try to make contact.
Okay. Now you just mentioned patrol officers. Were patrol officers normally on the scene when SWAT get there?
They are.
Patrol officers was on this scene at 525 Gridley?
Yes.
What
Lots.
happens with the patrol officers when you arrive?
So once we have enough SWAT operators on scene to get opposing corners is usually what we'll do, one in the back and then the opposite on the front, so that we can cover the whole house with those two teams.
I always saw
We
SWAT
also
teams coming
deploy
together
sniper
like in a
elements,
van or
to
something.
the front and rear so that we can see and have overwatch. Once we are sure that we can then take over the perimeter duties of the house, we relieve patrol from their positions and send them back to the command post for reassignment.
You said sniper elements. What's that?
We have sniper operators that are designated as snipers on our SWAT team. They work in tandem, a sniper and a spotter. They find locations near the house where they can get a good vantage point to help us see what's going on in the house and potentially be there to deliver lethal force if it's necessary or something should arise.
Okay. Now, if there's lighting around the house, what do you do, if anything, with the lighting?
In this case, there was lighting shining right at my reaction team on the rear of the house. It was a motion act.
All right, come through, Lady Steph. Hey, living girl, good evening. Glad you joined him. Lady Steph say, tactical procedures. SWAT teams may not wear body cameras to keep their tactical procedures a secret. Bad actors could potentially copycat their tactics and movements in order to evade them when they come in, right? So that makes sense, but I don't know if y'all seen that show, Mayor of what is it called? Not Mayor of New York, Mayor of something town. No, we just not getting started. He just giving his credentials and all that. This is the SWAT officer or SWAT head person, and he haven't even testified yet about actually any events. He just saying all the setup and stuff. I can't think of the name of the city, what TV show, whatever. But that SWAT team, I'm talking about a drama show, right? But that SWAT team, they was going into houses and damn near just wiping everybody out. It would have been real useful to have some body cam footage on them. That's why I'm like, dang, why they don't have body cam footage? But that makes sense. All right, Lady Steph, come on through, come through. You right on time, living. You're not even late. Get tardy. Let's get started.
Activated floodlight pointed to where we were staged on the rear, so our less lethal shotgun.
Kingstown, Mayor of Kingstown. The show right. Thank you.
With
That's a good show too. We didn't finish the last season so far.
background. It's like a tiny little bag about the size of your fist that's filled with bean bags, and it shoots out of a less lethal shotgun. So we disabled that light by shooting out the light bulb.
Why?
Because we
Hey,
didn't want,
you're welcome to the
Nixon
chat.
know where we were at or where our tactics were going to be at the time.
So is the goal to get the suspect or defendant to come out the house?
The whole goal is we're maneuvering and putting pieces in place to deal with potential threats, but we're trying to give time for our negotiators to make contact, also allow the suspect to make the decision to come out on his own, because the last thing that we want to do as a SWAT operator is make entry into the house, because obviously the suspect has time to prepare himself, he has time to fortify himself, he has time to arm himself and make plans. So really what we want is for him to come out on his own by his own choice.
Okay. Him being in that house, he would, so to speak, or any suspect, have a tactical advantage. You all don't know what you're walking into.
We don't know what the weapons. We knew that he had made threats that he was suicidal by cop and that he had potentially been armed with several weapons. That's what we received from patrol when we arrived on the scene, but we weren't sure what weapons those were.
Okay. Now,
thank y'all for hitting the like button.
negotiator is trying to get.
Hold on a second. Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Nixon.
I never made.
We're not arguing. So what's the objection based on the question?
Yes, we still short
Or
of
the
two.
answer, I guess.
And I'm gonna go to the
said that
dentist
I was
next week.
suicidal by cop.
This time
That was
next week
never
I'll be going to the
verified
dentist.
I never made that.
All right, you
Hey,
question
YW,
more
you're not late. You just
cross-examination.
tardy. Thank you
go
for
ahead,
joining.
Mr. Easter.
Well, good. Faith, love, and hope. Make sure you drop down more. Thank you for supporting the channel in Little Lane.
Hold on. Hold on for a minute. Set perimeter and try to get him to come out. The SWAT negotiator. How long had you all been on scene trying to get him to come out before action was taken?
So we were on scene probably within the hour of when the patrol officers initially arrived. Our SWAT negotiators had started PA announcements probably half hour to maybe 20 minutes. I mean, they were using the cars immediately, patrol was, but an actual trained negotiator.
Diamond, you
was
right on time.
probably
They still yakking it
35
up.
minutes,
He ain't started
and then from that
testifying about
time
what
until
happened
the
that
time
day
we made
yet.
entry would have been making the announcements. So
This is the SWAT
3
team
hours.
captain. All right, FLH.
And within that time, do you know if anyone came out?
there were what we've received from patrols that the homeowner and another individual had come out of the house willingly when they made contact at the house, and that they confirmed Mr. Nixon was inside.
Okay.
Damn, they snitched. Hey,
Who makes
Nitra,
the
Nitra.
decision to take
Good to see you in the
further
chat.
action if someone does not come out the house?
So the next step is made by the SWAT commander, and that would be to deploy chemical munitions. In this case, OC canisters and CS canisters, which is like tear gas. OC is pepper spray. CS is like a
No,
nerve
anonymous
reactant,
caller
so
made the call,
causes,
Sunshine.
water
They
in the
reported
eyes,
him in the
running
house.
nose,
They say
coughing.
that he was
Make
in the
sure
house
not to be
hiding,
wherever
that he had
gas
shaved
is.
off his hair off
And
and
that was
painted
the next
himself
step that
white.
The commander took in this
Figure that one out.
particular deployment was to deploy gas.
Will you please tell the court how that gas is deployed methodically throughout the house?
Sure. So what we want to do is always give the suspect inside the option or the ability to get out. We don't want to go in, obviously. The goal is to force him out of the house. So we start at the top level and we work our way down. So we will start putting gas using launchers. They look like it's like a big rotating can, and then it shoots canisters about 4 inches long up into the windows. They break the windows while they deploy gas. We start in that upstairs attic window. Once we get enough gas in there that we see smoke coming out, then we'll move to the second floor. The thought being that if he was in the attic, the gas should push him to the second floor. Then he's got time to stay there. If he's going to stay there, now we're going to deny him access to the second floor, and we will not put gas in the first floor. That would be our ultimate. We would try to avoid that at all costs because we want him to have the ability to get out one of the first floor doors. So that's what we did we shot a lot of gas in that house that night.
And you shot a lot of gas through windows?
Yes, attic windows. We actually shot the soffit of the house as well, like the little E part, so that we can try to get it into the attic better. And we shot the second floor bedroom windows.
A lot of broken glass in the house?
A ton of broken glass in the house.
So what is the procedure, or how long did you wait after you deployed chemical munitions?
So this was almost 4 hours from the time the patrol arrived to the time the decision was made by the SWAT commander to make a slow and methodical search of the house. It's really now as a SWAT commander myself, I don't want to order our guys into that, but we really had no choice in this. So we use a shield, and the first guy uses a ballistic shield to lead us through the house, and we do a slow and methodical, meaning we're checking every place that a person could hide, and we're not moving until that area is completely clear and we're confident, and then we proceed through the house. So there'll be one guy in front with a shield, and the rest of us behind.
Okay. And you did that. When you go into the house, did you enter on the first floor?
We did we entered through the front and rear at the same time, I believe, or we might have stacked on the front. I think it was actually just the front on this house.
Now there's a basement. Do you divide and conquer? Do you all go to the same place, or?
On this particular one, we held on the basement, meaning we left operators there to hold it so that nobody would come up, but then we proceeded through the rest of the house. We usually try to do the basement last. Just preference, I guess, on each team leader, at least in my opinion, I like to do the basement last.
When you're going through doing a slow and methodical search, are you giving any commands to come out still, or is that over?
Those commands have been done for 4 hours, so we really don't want to give away our position in the house until we come to a place where we think somebody is. Then we would potentially start to announce.
Okay. Now, at some point in time, did you come to a location where you believe the suspect was?
We did. We actually found it was in the attic. It was a knee wall, so to speak. It's about 4 feet high, and then there's a little cubby door where you would put storage items in. It looked like there had been disturbance to that door, so we pulled that door off. But clearly none of us want to, and I'm not going to force anybody to stick their head into a cubby hole that there might be an armed individual in. So we held on that door and called up for our eyeball camera.
Okay. Now, before we get to holding and an eyeball camera.
Remember last night when they showed the cubby hole he was in
Exhibit
and
number,
how small it
81.
was?
Your Honor, can you put the crayon or the markers?
That's the cubby hole down there too. On the
Objection, Your Honor.
objection. Here we go.
I was never given this photo in
If-
discovery.
It was testified to by Officer Smith that that's a still photograph
Yes.
from his body-worn camera.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Quinton,
you
we
did
saw this
receive
last
it.
night.
It was just in video format.
Do you recognize this photo, Detective Sinsley?
I do.
What do you recognize this photo as?
The attic of the Gridley
Hey,
location
Kurt
in the
Dixon.
cubbyhole that Mr. Nixon was hiding inside of.
You're
Do
not
you see the
officially
little
late. I'm
utensils in
still
different
counting
colors at the
tardies
bottom
right
of the
now.
screen?
Sure do.
Will you please
Now the
pick
next
one and
person,
circle the cubby
we're gonna
that
let
you're
them know
describing?
they late.
Okay. And that area, can you describe
Look at that little
area?
bitty small cubby
Can you
hole.
stand up? You got to sit down, bend down, crawl down?
So you can see like there's a this line up here is the ceiling line, so it's kind of like brought in off the roof line. So you really couldn't stand, at least a person, an adult-sized person couldn't stand there without having to hunch over or bend over. And to get into that cubby, we had to actually be on our knees to get down in there.
Were you on your knees?
Not initially, because obviously you
Hey,
can see there's
Candy
a
Cane,
bunch of
you're
stuff
late.
out here
Good
that's
to see you.
disturbed, and we kind of saw that as well. There was clearly something
SWAT team officer
that
on the
was
stand.
leading us or drawing our eye to that door. That's often a place where people will hide anyways, so we would have been checking it regardless, but it did look like there was something fresh about it. Until we could actually get the eyeball camera and see if there's somebody in there, nobody was going to get right up on top of that door.
Okay. Excuse me. Now, you said you got an eyeball camera. What is an eyeball camera?
So it's a
The
it
robot.
attaches to like a broom handle. It links directly to the team leader's phone in his pocket. It doesn't record. It doesn't go to our Axon. It just basically gives you a live picture instead of using a mirror, which we have mirrors that we could use. This gives you a better 360 all at once instead of having to rotate the mirror and look at different angles. You put the ball in. It has camera on all of them, and then you see all the areas of that room at once on your phone.
Okay. Is it describe the picture? Is it a 3D picture?
No, it's not great pictures. I mean, you really can only see forms. You really can't see like detail other than body shapes, and it's black and white because it's a low light type of a tool. So it's not great, but it does allow us in these circumstances to see things without having to put your head into that little hole.
Tell the court what you were able to see without sticking your head in.
We could see a body that was partially hidden to the right of that door by insulation and some other things that were inside of the room, inside that storage area.
Okay. What did you do once you saw a body partially hidden?
So now we start giving commands because obviously we see him in there. We want him to come out on his own because we're not going in there. Matter of fact, I don't know if any of our SWAT operators fully kitted up would actually fit through the opening as it is anyways with
It
their
was very small.
plates and their helmets and their rifles. So we're going to give it orders and try to get him to come out on his own. And in this case, Mr. Nixon chose not to.
How long were you getting orders, approximately?
I mean, I would say less than a minute. I mean, we don't want to completely be standing out there letting them know we're out there, but we also want to give him the opportunity to at least verbally acknowledge us or say something to say he's coming out on his own or give an indication that he's going to come out. But in this case, we heard nothing. So I made a decision to deploy OC canister grenade inside of that little room, and we did that.
Okay. What happened? How many canisters? One canister?
Just one, it was like this big, but it puts out a decent
Damn,
amount of gas.
if
Now,
they
mind
threw
you,
that
all the
canister
operators
directly in that
room are
small
also
space
gonna-
on
no
him,
matter how good your gas
that
mask
gas
is,
ate his
They're
ass
going to
up.
get a little bit of taste of the OC spray too, but it's better than the alternative of having to go in there and try to fight with him in a small space.
Okay. What happened after you put the OC spray in there?
Within a couple, 1 or 2 seconds of the OC spray inside of that little cubby hole, Mr. Nixon dove head first through that opening, striking his head on the little frame of it, and then had his hands out in front of him. He was probably exposed to us from the middle of his chest up. The rest of him was still inside of the cubby hole. So the operators that were up on their knees nearby that grabbed his arms, pulled him the rest of the way out, and then we handcuffed him.
Okay. And when you pulled him the rest of the way out, did he drag on the ground?
He did.
Was there glass on the ground?
It was.
Okay. And how did you handcuff him?
We used zip ties.
Okay. As he was drugged on the ground, could he have gotten cut by glass?
He could have because several of the operators that were actually handcuffing him got glass injuries to their knees and their hands as well.
And when he dove out, did he get any injuries to his face?
He did have a slight scuff to his right eyebrow, I believe it was,
Was he bleeding anywhere?
and from his right earlobe was bleeding.
Was he able to talk? Was his
He wasn't very cooperative with us to talk about, but as the team leader for this operation, once we took him outside and put him in a cruiser, it's also my job to determine if he needs medical treatment. So I went to the cruiser, I spoke to Mr. Nixon, asked him if he needed medical treatment. He said no. I asked him if he wanted to talk to me about what had occurred up in the room. He said no. Most of my focus at that point was getting the rest of the operators who also had damage or injuries to them. I wanted to get them treated by our tactical medics. But I did have our tactical medic check on Mr. Nixon before we cleared the scene. Mr. Nixon actually had less injury than several of my guys. So.
Okay. And you said tactical medics. Were they on scene? Is that something that's on scene?
So Akron Fire Department has tactical medics that are attached to our SWAT team. They go wherever we go. They're in plates. They're in helmets. They go where. I mean, they didn't go in the house with us on this one. They could. We didn't think it was necessary, but they also check everybody out once we're done to make sure, no matter who it is, whether they need EMS or not.
Now, you said when you deploy that gas that, well, you know, maybe you didn't. Testimony came out that when that gas is deployed, or maybe you did, your eyes water, you're snotting, you're just, did that apply to Mr. Nixon?
It did. He had definitely had the effects of the OC gas inside of there.
Okay. Did he ever say it was hard to breathe because of that?
I believe he was, but we were all having trouble breathing, so, yeah.
Okay, and did you document that in your report that he made no mention of no injury? And,
I just told the on-scene patrol supervisor that I had interviewed him, or attempted to interview him about the apprehension. He said he didn't want to talk to me. I did get notified later that he claimed that he had force used on him. I informed the patrol supervisor that not happened. I was standing there.
if force had been used, is there something called a use of force packet?
I would have completed a use of force package to not only protect Mr. Nixon, but to protect SWAT officers that were involved in it had there been force used, because in this case, a murder suspect potentially armed in a cubbyhole who had not willingly given himself up, it would have been
She couldn't think of another
realistic or
word,
reasonable
T.
if there could have been force used against Mr. Nixon. However, in this case, there hadn't been.
After the defendant, you got, first of all, the individual that came out of that cubby, that you pulled out the rest of the way, do you see that person in the courtroom today?
I do.
Will you please point to that individual and describe what he's wearing?
A gentleman in the orange and white outfit.
Your Honor, will you please let the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, when the defendant came out,
Yeah, Quinton say he was beaten by the SWAT team. I think that's why she kept saying about the body cam footage when she kept repeating that to him. I think that's maybe why she really harped on that.
I'm going to show you exhibits 82, 83, 84 in conjunction with exhibits 33 and 40.
We haven't seen him yet, Diamond. He probably gonna present those. Can you imagine being a state prosecutor, and what if they lose this case against a defendant who defended himself? That might get you a demotion. You know what I'm saying? That might get you back as a paralegal or something if you lose a case to a defendant acting as their own attorney. I would hate that. Exactly, NYW. I was thinking that they probably was extra aggressive because you got to remember they was waiting for him 4 hours. Okay, there he go, y'all. He look crazy. Baby, jail did him a lot of good. Okay. Jail did him a lot of good. The judge is displaying empathy towards Quinton. I think she's showing him a little bit of respect now because he handled the case well. Yeah, illegal demotion, child. We might NYW. My honey say if he go to prison, he'll definitely have a job as a prison attorney, an inmate attorney. I think people got off defending themselves. Let me look it up.
I'm not gonna keep doing that. That's State's Exhibit 33. Can you discern who's in that picture?
Mr. Nixon?
Okay. And is that how he looked when he came out? Meaning, was his head shaved and things of that nature?
Yes.
Did he come out with a shirt or no shirt on?
I think it was partially on, partially off, or down around his waist. I don't remember specifically.
Did you all take the shirt off?
I did not.
Okay, I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 83. I don't know if you can see.
It's good up here.
Oh, is it?
Uh-huh.
So I'm circling something.
Them drugs
right
had
here.
him out
Do
there.
you see that?
Yes.
Okay.
And I see white on
Did he
him, but I
have
think
that
that's from the
when,
crawl space.
You all brought him down from the attic.
That was noticed when he was sitting in the back of the police car when I spoke with him. There's blood coming from his right earlobe area.
Okay. Do you know how he could have gotten that?
I would assume from the glass or when he hit his head coming out of that cubby, but more likely probably the glass that was on the floor that cut everybody else as well.
Okay. Did you, when you were up there, stomp on the defendant?
No, one, I would have documented that we had used force on Mr. Nixon, and two, nobody could kick or stomp. They were all kneeling.
Okay. So I asked you, and you actually answered, but you didn't see anyone else kick,
No.
stomp, hit.
Not the cover girl. Okay, so this is a good place to pause real quick, okay? Let me read this to you guys. So, yes, there are examples of pro se defendants who have won murder trials. And so they named two guys, but those two, they was actually in prison and they represented themselves during a retrial, and that's when they got acquitted. They said one other person named Parb Hu or whatever said Parb Hu represented himself in an attempted murder trial and was acquitted. Now, it say right here, this is what's really fascinating. It says, in general, pro se defendants in state court fare as well as or even better than represented defendants. However, in federal court, the acquittal rate for pro se defendants is similar to the acquittal rate for represented defendants. So when you read, when I read that, it's like shit. They not saying, I thought in general the consensus would be that pro se mean you going down, but hey, according to Google, they do just as well as people with attorneys. So, interesting fact. Let's continue. Yeah, Quinton looked horrible.
I am going to circle something over his eye. It appears to be another scratch. So is that something that the defendant could have gotten when he was dragged out of the cubby as well?
Yes, or when he hit his head on the, I'm assuming it was his head or part of his arm. Something hit when he was diving out of the cubby hole. Could have happened then, or it could have happened when he was on the ground getting handcuffed.
State's Exhibit 40 is a close-up. Do you see that a little better now?
Yep.
Okay. State's Exhibit number 84. I don't know if you can see this. And please let me know if you can't see. It's right there. Can you see that? There. But can you see that?
The scuffing.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Again, is that something he could have gotten when he dove out or when he was brought out and handcuffed on the floor?
Yes.
What was 82?
I'm looking at it. That's why I'm showing you what's in Marcus State's exhibit number 82. Do you see any injury or anything on that photo?
I do not.
If he would have gotten any bumps or bruises in his head, what could that have been from?
Either from diving through or from when he was getting handcuffed and held to the ground with body weight. So
Objection, Your Honor.
Basis.
This is hearsay. He wasn't in the cubby hole, and he also stated that he wasn't close to the cubby hole. He could have never possibly seen my head being hit. In his report, he stated that he heard my head get hit.
Well, you get to cross-examine him on that. Overruled.
Okay. Okay. To be clear, were you there when the defendant came out the cubby hole?
I was about 5 feet from the cubby hole, behind 2 or 3 operators.
Okay. Did you see him getting dragged out the cubby hole?
I did.
Did you see him try to jump out the cubby hole or leave out the cubby hole?
We actually heard a bunch of commotion, then him hitting something on the cubby hole, then his arms come flying out.
Okay.
So at that time, everybody actually brought their rifles up, thinking he may have been bringing a rifle or a firearm because of how loud the noise was in there.
And because of how loud the noise and you knew he was in there, did you assume either a rifle, because you pulled your rifles up, or him hitting himself and his body on something?
We didn't know what it was, so we just were preparing ourselves. I don't believe I would not have done a report that night.
Okay. It just reads at the bottom, reporting Officer Sensley.
What report is that? Oh, we did charge him this additional charge. Yes, I did do that report.
What is it?
Obstructing official business for hiding in there. We did do that report. I'm sorry, I thought you meant for the original incident.
Okay, y'all, I got a quick question. Excuse me. Remember that first day, the part 1? Remember we saw one of the very first pieces of footages we saw was the 2 cops, patrol officers, when they pulled over there to that Circle K, remember? And they found that big AR rifle on the front seat, and they had put, I'm going to say him in the back seat. Y'all remember that? Was that Quinton or was that somebody else? Because ever since we saw that the first day, now we on part 8, it don't make sense to me. Because how could that have been Quinton when he was on the run for a whole month and they pulled him out of a cubby hole? Ain't nobody else wondered that? We might have to revisit that, because I am totally confused about who the hell was that at the Circle K. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue. And see, that was on the first day. We was watching, but we wasn't watching like how we watching now. You know? Let's continue. Just a thought. Girl, he paying somebody to do their hair up and down. But them guys be knowing how to do their own hair now. My son learned how to do his hair and style it.
All right, after he was brought down to the car, what, if anything else, you and or SWAT did at the scene?
I would have told, I did tell Captain
thought it was
Noe
him
what
too.
had happened up in the attic, that we apprehended him, that we were getting the Thames personnel to check him out, and that we had several operators that also needed checked out by the medics because of glass. Then we relayed everything we knew about the house to patrol, but also let the detectives know that it was going to take a minute to let the gas leave the house before they would be safe to go inside without protection.
And at that point in time, did SWAT vacate the area?
We did.
Did you have any other dealings with the defendant or State of Ohio versus Quinton Nixon?
No, ma'am.
Hold on for one moment, Attorney.
All right, Mr. Nixon, cross-examination.
Let's go.
All right, I'll give this back,
Cross-examination.
Your Honor.
You may. Thank you.
For the record, is it lieutenant or sergeant?
I'm a lieutenant now. I was a
Lieutenant.
sergeant at the time.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Hey, Miss Me, you came in just on time for the cross-examination of the first witness of the night. SWAT officer. Hope you had a good day.
Are you familiar with the body-worn camera policy for SWAT and APD officers?
Yes, I'm writing it.
Pardon me?
It hasn't been developed yet. I'm writing it right now for the SWAT team.
So there wasn't a previous policy or any guidelines set in order prior to you writing it?
Correct. The SWAT team's not required to wear body-worn cameras.
Can you tell the court how many SWAT team members breached the home that day?
I can give you the exact number. I could give you a ballpark. 2 reaction teams, probably of 6 guys, plus a team leader, so 12 to 15 officers.
And you were counting yourself as one of the members that breached that home that day?
Correct.
Were you one of the members that was upstairs?
Yes.
So you have recollection of every officer or SWAT member at the time that breached that home?
We would have a detailed list of that in the CAD, the computer-aided dispatching.
And is that detailed listing presented to detectives?
That's presented to everyone. That's in the call log, so everybody's ID number that's on that call is on there.
And that detailed report, it would state who went where and did what?
No, that's what I would do that, sir.
Okay.
I was the team leader for that.
So can you tell the court which officers were with you upstairs?
I could refer back to the call notes and try to determine that for you.
Okay.
If we're going down the path that you were beaten and were unconscious, we're not doing that. I've already ruled on it. So if you want to ask
Uh-oh.
some specific questions regarding his testimony here today, you may ask. If not, the cross-examination of him is going to be over. That is for another day. That, you file a civil lawsuit if you want. You do whatever you want with that. But I ruled as it applies in this criminal case.
So, Your Honor, if I can't cross-examine him now about that,
Uh-oh.
how would I preserve the evidence for a civil case? Right.
Child. Okay, so basically, you know, they not finna address nothing about no police brutality or nothing. Like the judge just say, we are not here to try nobody for police brutality, injury to you. We here because of the fact that you being accused of murder. If you're not finna ask some questions about that, you might as well just shut it down. You know what I'm saying? So now we know, come hell or high water, this is not the last we've seen of Quinton. Even if he do go to jail, get found guilty, he's still planning on trying to get him a civil lawsuit going against these people. Which, you know, hey, I ain't mad at him. You know? Let's see what he gonna be able to do. Is he gonna be able to maneuver around that? Is he prepared with other questions, or was that his entire plan? Let's go. Try watch with Demetra in a little ain't jury box.
Okay. I guess the question would still be, what officers breached the home with you upstairs?
2 reaction teams and 2 team leaders would have breached the home.
Would you happen
Me
to have,
being one of them.
would you happen to have their names and their badge numbers?
That would be included in the call notes that are in the computer-aided dispatch.
So it's not.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I mean,
Sorry about the
this is SWAT
the
team,
syncing.
correct? This is your guys are like a family, correct?
Correct.
So you would know who was right beside you, behind you, moving at the time of the incident, correct?
I would know that the reaction team that was with me would be somewhere near me. They wouldn't be necessarily right next to me. I can tell you this, if it would make it easier for you, everybody except the 4 snipers would have been inside the house and the commander, if that solves the problem for you.
Would you happen to know what SWAT members put me in zip ties?
No, but I was standing right behind them as they did it.
How could you not know who was in front of you?
Well, because we're all wearing green helmets, green vests, green pants, and we have gas masks on, so I couldn't really see their name tags that are on the back. And at the time, we were trying to get you into custody.
You stated that I dived through a cubbyhole and hit my face.
I said I assumed you hit something. I don't know whether it was your face, your arm, your shoulder.
In your written report, it states different. Do you remember what you wrote in your written report?
I could look at it and I can tell you what I wrote.
Yeah.
Hold on, y'all. Baby, I'll tell you, I wrote that. Ooh, I just thought of something, right? And y'all see right here, I wrote, I think Quinton also trying to get rid of, get this testimony in order to say he gave those statements. And then I thought about what Lady T said. Lady T just said 3 statements up, right, before my epiphany. So she ain't going to accept that the rest stuff. Duh. I just thought I had a bright idea, and you literally just thought about it. So that's what my bright idea was, is that he also trying to get this testimony from this guy about, possibly being beaten or injured or roughed up, so he can get so he can get his statements that he made when he was arrested at the jailhouse during the interrogation, so he can say that he only made those statements out of duress. And Lady T just said that. Girl, you quick. Real quick. Good catch.
This is a written narrative. I have to. Exhibit J will be Officer Sinsley's typed report, included narrative of what happened tonight.
I'm familiar with it.
Can you read it for the court, please?
The entire report?
report is hearsay. So ask him a question about what he thinks in that report.
When I read the report, it stated that I received injuries from diving through a cubbyhole. And that is what you testified to today, correct?
Correct. It's also in this report.
But you also said today that you assumed that's how I got the injuries, correct?
I said to Miss Easter that it could have been from hitting your head or it could have been from the glass on the floor.
Is it correct as well that your report doesn't state that you assume that I hit my head? The report states that you said it as if you were sure, correct?
What I'm saying here right now on the stand is that I believe you hit your head on the cubbyhole, but you could have also struck your shoulder, your torso, other areas coming out of the cubbyhole. But in addition to striking your head on there, you could have been injured in the glass.
Do SWAT members cover each other's backs?
I'm not sure of the question.
Earlier you stated you guys are like a family. You guys cover each other's backs regardless of what the situation may be or arise, correct?
I wouldn't say regardless of the situation.
You seen the pictures earlier that was produced from the state, correct?
Yes.
And you testified stating that I had a gash or a cut over my right eye,
It looked like an abrasion.
hematoma, as well as you seen my ear bleeding, correct?
Yes.
If I hit my head or you assume that I hit my head on the cubbyhole, which is small, how would I have?
Me too, Living. I don't think I'll be banking on what I read. Okay.
You didn't have hematomas all over your head or your face. You had one above your right eye, and your right earlobe was bleeding. You had a small scuff to your left.
Look at the bailiff
shoulder
behind
and
him.
upper chest area. Your injuries were actually less than the majority of the 4 operators that I had injured that night from the glass in the room. So that's why
So you said the 4 operators. Would you happen to know their names and their badge numbers?
I would not. It would be on the list.
Can you show me this list or tell me?
It would be on the computer-aided dispatch list that is part of the call notes of this call. They didn't, their injuries, although were more
He
than
trying to
yours,
get everybody
did not
name and
require
stuff so he
medical
can have it
treatment,
for his
so it wasn't
lawsuit.
documented.
Did you know that I require medical treatment?
I heard that you had asked for medical treatment later that night, yes.
Did you know that the jail denied me access and I needed medical treatment?
I did not know that.
Did you know that there was a report about this?
I did not. I knew that there was a follow-up and that your pictures had been
Objection,
taken.
Your Honor. This is objection.
The only thing I knew is that you've claimed to have been assaulted in the attic and that pictures have been taken documenting the injuries or lack thereof, and that and I informed the patrol supervision that I had already talked to you and you didn't want to talk to me about it.
So, for the record, it was you and 4 other people or members that detained me in the attic.
There were more than 4 others in the attic, and me.
You just said that there was. Okay.
Well, he learning how to stop conversating. The first 2 days, he had to get told not to do that. So he learns as he go. He pick up quick. He just missed the don't do drugs. Just say no part. I missed that part too for a minute.
So, when writing a report for a SWAT breach, it is up to the commander to type out the whole report, correct?
No, I wasn't the commander at the time of this incident. I was a team leader.
Okay. So, are you familiar with City of Akron Police Division, Stephen L. Milet, Chief of Police, effective date May 30th, 2023, number P2023031, subject mobile recording device.
Are y'all
procedure,
watching?
Akron
Are y'all
Police.
watching the
Are
bailiff
you
behind
familiar
him
Yes.
face? Oh, you like my little funny living gaslighted?
Are you familiar with policy number 2,
What's the date? What's the date on that memo?
2023?
Okay, so that's after this arrest. Move on. It's irrelevant.
Child.
It's in 2023. This happened in 2022. So if you want to talk about whatever the policy was in 2022, be my guest. But that is irrelevant.
Your Honor, he also stated that there wasn't anything before.
So you can't discuss it.
Mr. Nixon, we're talking about August of 2022. If you have a question regarding a policy that existed at that time, you may ask. Anything after that is
Exactly,
irrelevant.
Lady T.
Yes, ma'am.
And he texting people about it.
Do you have any,
He like, y'all to see this asshole.
do you have any,
He on that phone telling somebody all
knowledge
about it.
whether Akron SWAT has been accused of force, abuse of force, I guess?
No.
Have you ever been accused on Akron SWAT of being, of using abuse of force?
No.
You stated on record earlier that I was suicidal by cop. Someone told you that on, I don't know how you got that information. May I ask how you got that information?
Patrol officers had told us they'd received information alluding to that fact and that you were armed. And also schizophrenic, I believe, were in the notes of the call.
Did you get any type of information stating that I was scared of the police and I had been bitten by a police officer?
No, sir.
I mean, by a police dog.
No.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you.
No questions.
You may step down.
Thank
Mr.
God. But
Thank
see,
you.
I think most of
All
his
right,
line of
we're
questioning for
going
this
to
officer
proceed.
was going to be
We're
absolutely
going to
about
adjourn
the
for the day.
police
And I've been
brutality.
informed that Mr. Perry does not have any hearings in the morning, so we are
And
going to
because he
start at
couldn't bring that in,
8:45.
I think that threw him for a loop. And instead
the
of him
state's
just leaving it
witnesses.
alone,
I
he
have an
decided to
8:30
try to
civil
go
pretrial,
around it
and
and
then
act it
after
in a
that,
different
we
way.
will begin, with your witnesses.
May I put one thing on record, Your Honor?
You may.
Watch this.
Okay. Your Honor, I had spoken to you and the defendant and standby counsel about a witness yesterday that our office had picked up because he did not have a ride. That witness name was Ronald Crew. He got here approximately 8:50 yesterday morning. That would have been October 1st. And he stayed all day until we adjourned approximately, I don't know, 5 o'clock yesterday. He did not have a way. We brought him. So afterwards, I took Mr. Cruz,
I think it was two different
Attorney
occasions, Sunshine.
Prosecutor Villette, and I took him home. And on the way home, we stopped by McDonald's, and I have the receipt
Check this out.
at 5:18 p.m. And ordered him food. He got a quarter pounder with cheese.
Why they over there
fries,
laughing?
And a icy orange. It came up to $11.78. I'm putting this on the record, Your Honor, so there will be no appearance of impropriety. I did that because he was here on yesterday, not for any testimonial type issues. I also did that because the defendant filed a motion prior. He wanted to know about any inducement.
Why they
or anything
laughing like that
to
at that
any
woman?
witnesses, Your Honor. I'll be more than happy to submit the receipt into evidence if you like.
Your choice if you want to submit it as an exhibit. It would be a court's exhibit. All right, thank you. We're adjourned.
Y'all, let me tell y'all something. Y'all know Mr. Perry. Mr. Perry is that brother that's over there with Quinton, the court advisor, right? That's the court advisor, okay? I think that him and Quinton seem to have a good rapport. You know what I'm saying? Well, I guess so. They won't say that they tried to bribe the witness, but it's 2024, right? So why didn't they send that man home in an Uber? Why didn't they have an Uber pick him up on the state dime? Why in the world would the state prosecution team, two of them, go pick this witness up and drop him home personally and go buy him a quarter pounder with no pickles? None of that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? That's what she's trying to do now, is to put it on record so it won't come up later as some type of I know I can say improper again, but it's a more fancier word. Impropriety. Is it impropriety? So impropriety won't be claimed. Okay. Yes, I found that $5 word in my vocabulary book in my brain. Thank you very much. Next video. Why y'all think Quinton and that man was laughing at her when she was saying that? Because they was over there cracking up. Okay. Why y'all thought they thought that was so funny? Y'all think it's because they know they was trying and that they know they was going to say something about it? Okay, I thought I had closed this window so y'all won't see me doing this part. Let me see. Okay, so that was P. Okay, hold on, let's see. That was P2. PQ, so Q is next. The detective. Right, they can get the whole testimony and throw it out behind $7. She act like she's thinking about that Fannie Willis case. She don't want anything coming back on her. I didn't follow that one.
Present on behalf of the state prosecutors Easter and Villette, and we are ready to proceed.
Okay,
Call your next witness.
let me fix the speed.
Coom.
Boom. Let me let y'all see
Thank
it.
you.
Hold on. Boom. Okay, I'm gonna be in the chat for a moment, away from my desk. I'm gonna go fix me some more coffee.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Go ahead and have a seat. Keep your voice up. Make sure that button on the microphone is blue. Yes, ma'am. And then if you'll just speak into it so we can hear you. Go ahead, Mr. Villette.
Can you please state your name for the record, spell your last name?
Sergeant Kyle Farr, Farr.
Where do you work?
I'm a police officer for the city of Akron.
And what do you do there?
I enforce city ordinances, state laws, respond to calls for service.
And what's your current rank within the police department?
Sergeant.
And when did you make sergeant?
Approximately a month and a half ago.
And prior to that, what was your rank?
Officer.
And how long have you been with the police department?
A little over 7 years.
And did you have any law enforcement and military experience prior to that time?
I did have prior law enforcement experience.
And where was that through?
Coatesville Township and Brookfield Township.
Now, when you first became a police officer, did you go through an academy or a training program?
Yes.
And when you joined the Akron Police Department, did you go through the Akron Police Department's Academy or training program?
Yes.
And are you currently a certified law enforcement officer in the state of Ohio?
Yes, sir.
And so I want to go back to July of 2022. When you were working at that time, did you work in a regular shift or area of town in Akron?
Yes, sir.
And what was that?
That time I was Firestone Park, technically.
Okay. And if circumstances required it, did you respond outside of your normal district?
Yes, sir.
And were you working with a regular partner?
I was.
Who was that?
Officer Alexander McGarvey.
McGarvey?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Now, I want to take you to, and I will, here we go. I just wanted to let the court know we do have 2 short clips. I don't know if the court needs to hit anything. So on July 25th of 2022, did you have occasion to respond to a shooting on Maryland in the Kenmore area?
Yes, sir.
And that area in Akron, Summit County, Ohio?
Yes.
Do you remember the nature of the call?
Yes, it was first shooting.
Hold on a second. What's going on? Oh, all right.
Okay, who was this officer, y'all? I missed it when I had my honey here, so I was talking to him. Who is he?
Sounds good.
All right, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. And do you recall who from the police department arrived first?
Yes, sir.
Who was that?
That was myself and my partner.
Okay. And were you able to make entry into the apartment?
Yes.
And was that easily done?
I wouldn't say easily, no. We didn't just walk in.
Okay. And why was that?
We knocked on the door originally. We heard some voices inside. I tried the door handle. It was locked.
Okay. Was anybody inside?
Yes.
Were you able to make contact with them?
Yes.
Were they able to open up the door?
No.
And in that conversation, do you remember why that was?
The victim was partially blocking the door.
Okay. And so did they have to physically move her so that the door could be opened?
She did have to be moved a little bit, yes.
Okay. Once you made entry, what did you guys do?
My partner stood with the 2 people that were inside, and I went and checked on the victim who was on the couch.
And we heard from other officers. Did other officers clear and make sure that the apartment was otherwise safe and secure?
Yes.
Hey,
Did you
sweetie
have
girl.
body cam that night?
I did.
Have you had a chance to review that body cam?
I have.
And does that body cam?
Yeah,
did
this
that
another
body cam
responding
accurately
officer.
reflect your actions and
Good to see you,
interactions?
sweetie. I hope you had a
Yes,
good
sir.
day.
This time, Your Honor,
85.
our state would move to play what would be marked as State's Exhibit 85.
I love body cams.
At the police!
Gotta move over, dude. I'll be there, 7. Go check that. You want to clear with McGarvey? Yeah. I'll give you 1 feet. Hey, sir. We're egg the dog. That's fine.
I don't see one. There's a holster here. Who is it? I don't know. Just be careful for a gun. There's a holster. I don't want to remember. How did this happen? Dear, when did this happen?
It's not even 5 minutes ago. And then go on my score. Sorry.
Is some blood in it? I didn't see any blood anywhere. Oh, there it is. What's the description of that? I don't know. I didn't hear it. Looks like she got hit in the base of the skull in the back. Looks like one shot there. It just like leaked down into their front there. All that blood like twisted up. Yeah. So, there's a back there's last side glass door.
Child dead out. Then you can't hear him. Child.
I did.
He's not talking in the
Correct,
microphone.
for EMS as well as our audio is there to record citizen contact, and I was not having any.
This officer looked traumatized. And like he needs some sleep. Oh, they got 2 guards behind him? Or is this the next day? I think this is the next day. I don't know what they doing. Well, let me put my little picture up over that law and crime before I don't be able to monetize my video. Let's see. Boom. Y'all know I'm impatient. I've been to start fast forwarding and shit. Let me see. I don't know why they just sitting there. Yeah, the prosecutor doing worse than it. Okay, here you go. Oh, them getting fired. Oh, this might be the one No, we heard them talking a minute ago. They got me losing my mind.
Your observations of what happened from the time you arrived until the time of the apartment?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to take you back to approximately timestamp 120.
Up, but he say keep that. Oh, you had a lot of commercials in Renee?
This item
I'm gonna slow it down.
that the mouse is pointing to, do you recognize that?
Yes.
And what was that?
Up, but he
It
say
was
keep that
the
same
Bell
crime
holster
energy.
to a firearm.
Okay.
And then at timestamp approximately 5:50, it looks like you moved it a short distance. Why did you do that?
Yes, because I knew EMS was going to be moving her. I wanted to get it out of their way.
Okay. And when you first arrived, it looked like you were putting on gloves.
Yes, sir.
Why was that?
To protect myself from any kind of bodily fluid. I was going to try to render first aid, and I saw EMS was there, so.
Okay. And does it play any role in trying to make sure you don't contaminate the crime scene?
Yes.
And what's that?
That I don't get any of my DNA onto the crime scene.
With this, at some point, were you informed that individuals had gone off the back porch of the
Yes.
apartment? And did you search the area of the back porch?
I canvassed, yes.
Okay. And by that, what I mean is like the yard and such. Did you walk through any portion of that?
Yes,
And did you find anything back there?
I did.
And what was that?
I found a purse and a wallet that was laying on the ground directly below the balcony.
And was that also recorded on your body cam?
Yes.
And were you among the first officers to look in that area, if not the first?
I believe so, yes.
And so what's on your body cam, is that how to the best of your knowledge, is that how the purse was laying after the incident prior to any police involvement?
Yes.
This time, state would move to play, or question number 86, Your Honor.
Okay. Oh, they finna go around to the balcony. Okay. I wonder who picked that purse up. Cause Quinton, when he jumped over the patio, they still had the purse there. He didn't take it with him. Thank you, Renee. Oh no, the purse still there. Look, I spoke too fast. See, that's the purse.
Does that recording accurately reflect when you found the purse in the wallet?
Yes.
I have just one moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
So I wonder why he was taking the purse out the house with him, only to just leave it outside. They could have also charged him with like attempted robbery or something, simply because he took the purse from in the house to outside, right? Oh, okay, that's good to know, Uppity. Thank you for letting me know that, because I'm working with how the commercials go while I'm live. Thank y'all for that feedback. So every time you re-enter the chat, they have a commercial. Got you. Is it a skip commercial or the one you have to go all the way through up it, y'all? He should have never took that girl purse out that house. Well, I guess he should have never shot her too. Shit.
Sergeant Farr, when you first arrived, just to go back on one step, on the couch itself, closer to the door, closer to the side towards the door, the back couch cushions, if you remember in your video in the living room, there were a couple holes in the cushion. Do you remember those?
Yes.
And what did they look like to you?
They appeared to be bullet holes.
Okay. And was that also reflected on your body cam?
Yes.
And at that time, did you try to determine if they in fact were, or did you just leave that for somebody else to determine?
I believe I left it.
Okay. So that was for if in further investigation it needed? Okay. Nothing further at this time.
Mr. Nixon, cross-examination.
Now, what questions could he have for this officer?
Sergeant Farr, you stated that to the state today. You stated that the holes in the couch appeared to be bullet holes. Correct.
Correct.
Are you familiar with discharging a firearm and how hot a bullet can, how hot a shell casing could be once it's ejected from a gun after discharging it? Correct.
Yes.
Are you for sure that it looked like bullet holes?
In my opinion, it looked like bullet holes, yes.
Okay. Hindsight in looking at it, could it have been burn holes from the actual shell casings?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
If the gun ejected
Baby
a bullet and it was
listen to
hot
this.
and it landed on that fabric, could it have been a hole from the actual casing of the bullet?
I do not know. Like I said, in my opinion, it appeared to be bullet holes.
Okay.
At this point, Quinton is really pushing it. He's trying to say that the bullet holes was just really burn holes from hot casings, I guess. You know, that the casings, the projectile casings, burnt the couch. He is really pushing it. I've never heard that before in my life.
And where were those bullet holes located?
On the back of the couch cushion on the back.
So on the where your back would be, basically where the head and the back would be.
Yes.
Correct. Were there any bullet holes found under the victim?
I do not recall.
You stated that you were one of the first on scene,
Yes, sir.
and you stated today that you were also one of the first to observe the purse being in the backyard.
Yes, sir.
Had anyone else been back there prior?
Not to my knowledge.
So, when investigating, it is a procedure to put on gloves to not cross-contaminate the scene, correct?
There are numerous reasons too, but yes, that is one of them.
Could you explain one more time for the court what those reasons would be?
Yeah, a couple of the reasons we don't want to cross-contaminate the scene. Our job is scene security and then scene preservation for evidence, as well as when we're dealing with a shooting, we're dealing with bodily fluids, and that we use those to protect ourselves as well. so I don't get any bodily fluids on myself if I go to render first aid.
Okay. So you have no knowledge of anyone actually touching that purse besides yourself?
Not that I know of, no.
No, he's not asking the same question, but he gets
And
laser
if someone
focused.
touched the purse without a glove on, that's considered cross-contamination, correct? As far as a officer, if an officer touched the purse during that time without any gloves on, that would be considered cross-contamination, right?
They would get their DNA onto it.
Pardon me?
They would get their DNA onto it if they touched it without gloves, yes.
Okay. Um,
Child. Come on, Quinton. Quinton a little slow today, y'all.
Your Honor, I have a video clip I would like to play.
Uh-oh.
If I could have time to find it.
Sure.
Uh-oh. Child, if Quentin pull another rabbit out the hat and literally got a videotape of another officer going back there with that purse, touching that purse, I'm going to fall out this chair. I'm going to just fall out. But uppity, he always be going somewhere with stuff. You know what I'm saying? He not always right, but I have faith in the fact in his cross-examinations at this point. It has not been many witnesses besides maybe the ones we just saw tonight, the SWAT officers. Besides them, he been laying traps for people and doing a good job of raising reasonable doubt. And it's been a lot of witnesses. He's even been able to accomplish that with the medical examiner. He was able to accomplish that with He was able to ask a good question with the medical examiner that kind of left reasonable doubt. He was able to ask y'all saw last night how he did that CSI officer with that footage and stuff with that we are not going to use the word machete tonight, okay? But with that bladed object that was in the room, we saw how he did that, officer. So that's why, you know, Lit Lane jury box be right. And Renee say I don't put anything past Quentin. Quentin been pulling out the stops. Like seriously. That's why I can't wait to see Miss B, you see that too? I can't wait to see the interrogation. I saw it when I was recording it, but I didn't listen. You know. And Renee say, look here up, and you ain't been here. You got to pay attention, girl. Yes, that's why I want access to their books. What books? They legal books? And mind y'all, let me say, y'all notice how he getting better, right? Yesterday I say at this point in time he didn't learn how to use the computer and everything. Now, when he asking the witnesses questions, he actually asking questions, doing the computer, looking through his evidence. He doing a lot of shit at one time now.
Can I have a break, if possible, to find this clip?
We're good. Just, I'm in no rush.
Okay.
No problem. Oh, I snorted. Sorry. But he is learning how to multitask. Okay? He's doing a really good job of it. And I think that court advisor, I think the court advisor kind of like, okay, he doing his thing. Let me help him. Put in a request with the Ohio courts and pay them. For what? The books? What books y'all talking about? The legal books? The law books? I'm lost. Let me stay out of that. I want that other bailiff back because he was giving me life. Come on, Quinton. Yes, legal books. I actually followed this particular case because I've had two cousins do this. So it's interesting. And when I'm not here, my aunt, your clouds. Oh, hey, Annie. NYW judge said we got time. Okay. But you know the judge ain't been giving a damn about the time in the court. They've been going overtime like for a couple of nights. They went to like 6 and 7 o'clock at night. But then again, she started the second trial this week here. So she burned the candle at both ends.
Is it a specific officer?
Oh,
Yes,
okay, that's
ma'am, but
what's
I do
up.
not know.
He going pro se?
Was it on somebody that's already testified?
Yes.
Do you know which one?
No, they weren't labeled as they are.
No, do you know who testified in court? Officer Smith?
No, he is.
That's the different one. Okay, hold on. Officer Oles?
No, ma'am.
The judge trying to help him.
So
Remember
I don't
yesterday,
believe they did testify.
he had
I don't know
objected
who it
because
was.
the way the state gave him the evidence wasn't labeled the same way as they submitting evidence to the court. Y'all remember he said that? He said he object, and the judge was like, I understand what you're saying, but it's labeled in such and such way. Like she was saying, I understand what you're saying. I understand to make things kind of complicated. This my own words, right? But you can still work it out. So I think that's why the judge is being real patient right now, because it's already been brought up and they're aware of the fact that the state didn't label all his stuff the same way. Which, why wouldn't they label his stuff the same way, right? To make it more difficult for him. And I don't think the jails have much better law books. It's just that they got a lot of time to sit there and read the books, okay? A lot of time people not even using the law books. They're using the computers. Them prisoners with term and a motive, and a task on their hand, they gonna sit there and read book for book, page for page, word for word, comma for comma. It's nowhere in the world that the jailhouses got better legal books, law books than outside of jail. Nowhere in the world. They probably even have outdated books. It's just a matter of how much time and effort they put into it, I would believe. They be in jail and prison, baby. They be reading they be becoming philosophers and all kinds of things because they got time to read and study. Oh, let me fast forward because, baby, we on the deadline. We trying to get to the end of the state case, okay? So we can catch up with the actual case. They're ahead of us at this point. Girl, he's still looking. Ciao. Okay, here we go. Hold on. They keep found it. Hold on.
Without gloves.
Well, it's so funny though. They go to jail, get so brilliant, then come back out and be back dumb.
Without gloves.
They be in there writing them deep ass letters, and they come back out and where all that knowledge went, who knows?
Your Honor, I need more time to find the video. Sergeant Forrester, you have no recollection of any officer touching the purse without gloves?
I do not.
And if they had touched the purse without gloves, they would have had to report it, correct?
Can you rephrase the question? Or?
If one of the
That
officers
was
had touched,
That question
The
was very
person on
clear.
scene without gloves, they would have had to report it.
They should have told someone, yes,
Okay.
if that's what you were.
Yes. I don't have any further questions at this time.
All right, thank you. You may step down. Or any rejects, sorry, excuse me. You may step down. Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you very much.
Diamond say if he's sentenced, he would definitely be an
Are you
asset to
sentenced?
those in prison and fight for their causes for sure. Yeah, make him some money for his books. And Renee say they would go to the law library and prepare for their case and check books out when it's time for the library to close. Right. Lady T think he think it matters, but you got to remember part of the thing that he's trying to do. Hold on.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do believe that part of his defense and his claims is that he's being maliciously prosecuted, right? He one of his claims in defense deals is that they bringing this case against him maliciously and without like he trying to make it look like a dirty case. Okay? So if he able to show and try to prove that they doing stuff off the books, they doing stuff that's outside of standard procedure, then he got the leg up on that type of defense. Oh yeah, somebody I was about to say that, Renee. I was gonna say, and trust and believe they be up in there helping each other too. Okay? Them jailhouse attorneys and stuff like that. And I think the court advisor looked like he kind of have a little respect for him and helping him probably more than he would somebody who he thought was a flunky, you know? Because they seem to have a great rapport, him and the advisor, Mr. Perry. I just learned his name today, y'all.
Go ahead and be seated. Keep your voice up. Speak into the microphone, please.
It's the detective, y'all. We finna see the interrogation. Oh, I'm hollering. Let me calm down.
Good morning, Detective Hornacek.
Good morning.
Will you please state your first and last name, spelling your last name for the record?
Edward Michael Hornacek, Hornacek.
Where are you employed, Detective Hornacek?
City of Akron Police Department.
Why are you talking so quiet?
Because I'm going to cough. How long have you been employed with the City of Akron Police Department?
22 years.
What division are you in?
I'm in the Detective Bureau on midnights for persons crimes against persons that are felonies and violent crimes.
Okay. And what type of crimes are in the crimes against persons unit?
Murders, felonious assaults, rapes, robberies.
How long have you been in that unit?
Since 2017.
Prior to that, where were you?
I worked patrol.
Okay. What type of training or education do you have to be an officer?
I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Tiffin University, a 6-month police academy through the City of Akron Police Department, and ongoing education as well, and through the State of Ohio Attorney General's Office, Master Criminal Investigator certificate as well.
Did you get that as part of your training in the Persons Detective Bureau?
Yes.
Okay. Now, before I get into what happened on July 25th, I would like to talk about how does a detective get involved in a case?
We normally work out of our office, so we monitor the radio for calls that are going out. We also have computers, laptops at our desks where we can monitor dispatch calls and what's going on out in the streets. Our procedures are for whenever there is a felony that patrol reports that to the Detective Bureau by calling into our office to determine if we're going to go out on scene.
How do you all decide who goes out?
It's all circumstantial based on the severity of the crime and how many witnesses, victims, and suspects are on scene. So it's usually all hands on deck if there's several people out there. If it's something where there's just a victim, then we'll just 1 or 2 detectives.
Okay, and I noticed that you're testifying in a suit and tie while other officers came in uniform. Do detectives wear uniforms?
Not in the Persons Detective Bureau, no.
Okay. On July the 25th of 2022, did you get called out to the scene?
Yes.
From the Detective Bureau, do you remember who all went out?
Myself, Detective McConnell, and Detective Taylor, and I believe Detective Keith Williams.
Okay. Will you please tell the court what you saw or heard when you got to the scene?
We'd already been notified that someone was shot, critical, and in opinion, going to pass. On the way there, that person, Tony Westover, she did pass. So we went there. The crime scene tape was already set up. Got a rundown from several of the officers that were on scene of the 2 witnesses that remained on scene, and what they had observed in the house in the backyard of the house behind the patio, as well as the video that they spoke to a resident in that same complex about.
Okay, you talked about a couple things. You said when you got there, you got briefed. Is that typical that when you get to a scene, a patrol officer or someone on scene will brief you?
Yes.
Okay, and then you were here and heard Detective Sinsley talk about the time it takes SWAT to get to the scene. Approximately how much time does it take a detective to get to a scene?
That's another thing that's circumstantial based on if we're on another call as well, or how much time it takes for the patrolmen or their supervisors to call us and let us know what's going on to determine if we need to be on scene or what scene we need to be on, because sometimes the dispatched call location isn't where we need to show up first. Sometimes it's a hospital. So once we get that all determined, that's when we make our way to the scene. So there's no time frame. We just try to get out there as quick as we can.
Will you please tell the court what you did once you got on scene?
Once got on scene, noticed it was a 4-unit brick apartment building. They said that the incident occurred upstairs on the top level. Once we went up there, kind of checked out the scene after we were briefed on what happened, notified the crime scene unit for collection of evidence. Detective McConnell and Detective Taylor had interviewed the 2 witnesses that remained on scene to gather information to what we need to look for on scene, what transcribed, what took place, so we know what we're looking for.
Okay.
Lady T, the person that said that she was already dead on 911 call was Ronald, because Ronald made the 911 call. Remember, and remember he wasn't want no type of parts of trying to go see to try to give aid or anything. Remember, he didn't want to go next to the body, and he told the operator that he felt that she wasn't breathing at all, and he felt like she was already dead. So that was Ronald who definitely said that. But you know, when the detective just said that they, you know, when he said she might be dead, they can't just go off of what that civilian said, you know, about whether they, you know, whether she dead or not.
Approximately how long did you stay on the scene?
Maybe an hour or 2. I can't say. I'm not sure.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Did you do anything? Did you perform any other duties or do anything else while you were on scene that night?
Most of the time I was there, I was asking officers about things that they have observed, and then consulting with Detective McConnell and Detective Taylor on what went on in the 2 interviews with Angel McLean and Chip Ron Crew. And
those was the car interviews, which we didn't see Ronald car interview.
What part they took, what role they took.
The judge wouldn't let it in.
Okay. And there were multiple people on this scene, and I heard you use a couple names, Detective McConnell, Detective Taylor, and then you. So it was more than one detective that responded to the scene?
Yes, there were 4 of us.
Okay. Who's the last one? I don't think I said that.
Detective Keith Williams.
That's right, Detective Keith Williams. I apologize. Will you please tell the court about the investigation that followed?
Okay, let's see if he
So the
investigated better than last
investigation that
night
followed at that
investigated.
point, the officers
CSI.
first spoke with Angel, and Ron, and they had gathered some names. And when they gathered those names, I started looking those names up and calling our office to see where some addresses might be, names, date of births, possible locations where those people could be. Once I gathered those, I gathered the information and kind of put it together after Detective McConnell and Detective Taylor interviewed Ron and Angel to see if those matched up with their second statement, being that they already gave a statement to patrol. Now they're giving a statement to the detectives. So seems like everything was staying consistent. So that was my role in trying to get that information to find out where the names that were given to us were Brian Fielders, Quinton Nixon, and Adam Wright. So those are the three names that I was tasked with finding out the information.
Were you able to find out the information for any of those individuals and subsequently interview?
Yes, all three.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Brian Fielders. Were you able to interview him, and when did that occur?
So the only two people that remained on scene for this incident, obviously the victim, Tony Westover, and then the two residents of the apartment, which was Ron Crew and Angel McClain. So those are the only people that remained on scene. Everybody else fled the scene. 2 days later, after the incident occurred, Brian Fielders called and asked to speak to the lead detective, which was me. I interviewed him over the phone that day.
Over the phone?
As far as how the interviews went after that,
Wow.
I re-interviewed him later on in August. I believe maybe August 27th is when I interviewed him in person.
That's correct.
He had a parole violation, so I had him brought over from the Summit County Jail upon arrest to do a full interview with him in the Detective Bureau. As far as Adam Wright goes,
I thought that was Adam he was talking about.
We heard that he might go to a different state, like North Carolina, so I made some phone calls to try to find addresses. We couldn't find anything. I did not interview him until he was arrested and he was in the penitentiary, and I believe your office at the Summit County Prosecutor's Office, the investigators found and located him and had him transported late in September for an interview, and I interviewed him at the Akron Police Department as well.
Okay. And in the interim, was an individual by the name of Ashley Broughton interviewed?
Ashley Broughton also came in on July 27th, 2 days later, for an interview, and I interviewed her in the Detective Bureau as well.
Now, at this time, not July 27th, let's go back. The last interview we were talking about was Ashley. At that time, you had not spoken to Quinton Nixon. Is that fair?
That's correct.
Okay. At some point in time, did the Detective Bureau or the Police Department get any information regarding his possible whereabouts?
Yes.
And how did that come about?
So first, in chronological order to answer that question, I had a meeting with a supervising prosecutor to sign charges for murder, and he authorized charges to sign charges on Quinton Nixon for murder. So that was on August 4th. So after August 4th, I notified the task force, Northeast Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force, to search for him. Normally they find people through cell phone locations, but being that Quinton left his cell phone on scene, we weren't able to find him. So we didn't find him for a whole month after the murder happened.
Okay.
We got a phone call to the Detective Bureau desk, and Detective Stan Davis spoke with an anonymous caller who said that someone that was wanted for murder was in the 500 block on Gridley inside of the house. And they had told us that person had shaved their head and painted their face white. So So Stan Davis notified dispatch, and officers arrived on scene over that 500 block of Gridley. I think it was 525.
That is correct. And that was August the 24th?
That was August 24th, somewhere around 10 p.m.
Well, the 23rd.
Basis.
The statement he made about me painting my face is hearsay. There's no proof of that.
Overruled. It did. Okay. It's overruled. Go ahead.
I believe it was August the 23rd to the 24th or the 24th to the 25th.
I believe it would have been the 24th if it was 10 p.m.
Okay, that's fine. And
We got to find
you
that
were
out, Lady
here
T.
and heard multiple detectives.
We're gonna
Detectives,
have to go back to
Nicholas
that first
Smith
clip
and
we saw.
well, no, not detective, Lieutenant Sinsley talk about the arrest that occurred on August the 24th.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what happened after the defendant was arrested?
After the defendant was arrested,
Correct.
so after the defendant was arrested, I requested that he be taken to the Detective Bureau for an interview based on his murder warrant and the investigation.
Okay. Now, how did you know that had occurred? Are you, at this point in time, were you considered a case detective?
We determined that later on. We all worked together and then determined it later on based on our case log and who's available to do more work on the case at the beginning.
How were you notified, or how did you know he had gotten arrested?
So Captain Yowie, who was the commander of the SWAT team, notified me that we needed to get a search warrant for officers to actually make entry inside of the house.
Hey, Tamika, welcome to the chat.
Detective McConnell contacted a police legal advisor and had them type up a search warrant. Detective McConnell took that to a judge.
Let me pause it right there because Diamond say they had a few days to get the stories together. They had more than a few days, and that's what Quinton did himself a grave injustice, right? Because guess what? He went on a run for a month. Right? So everybody else was able to get their story together, allegedly, seemingly, maybe, possibly, decide to pin this on his ass. And he gone with the win. And mind you, I want to take this moment to also note that Adam, he took off too. I mean, he took off. He took off out of state. And I don't understand, and we're going to get to hearing more about it. I, for the life of me, cannot understand how come they just take these other witnesses that was all there. How come they so easily allow for them to point the finger at Quinton? I don't understand that. Like, why was they never persons of interest? And we're not hearing, to this point, we have not heard where any of law enforcement have pointed or even insinuated that any one of the other 6 people besides the victim was a person of interest. They are absolutely not saying that at all. It seemed like they just taking people's word for it and not even investigate into that angle. Took off meaning what? Meaning Adam took off out of state. He went on a run. Quinton went on a run. They found Quinton a month later. Adam, they just now he ended up getting arrested somewhere else and was in the penitentiary for parole violation. And when this detective say he interviewed Adam in September, he talking about September like last month, September 2024. So that's what I mean. He took off. That would have seemed strange to me. If he didn't have nothing to do with it, he didn't do nothing wrong, why would he not come in and give a statement? Why would he not be it's some funny business to me. Very funny business. That's why I don't totally disbelieve Quinton. Let's continue. I don't understand why these people get away with not being persons of interest.
It's 1:20 a.m. and had that signed and then notified Captain Yowie that the search warrant was signed by a judge, and then that is when SWAT made entry
Right, Jill.
at
A hot mess.
125.
All them people up
And
in there,
then
drugs
they
and guns,
let dispatch know that they had made an apprehension in the
and
attic
they know
at
other people had
1:40 a.m.
guns, and nobody else
So
but Quinton is the
after
one
they
being
had made the
fingered. I don't
apprehension,
get it.
You know, I was monitoring the radio and listening to the radio, so I knew where I needed to be and what were the next steps that needed to be taken.
Was he brought down to the station for an interview?
Yes,
Was he in fact interviewed?
yes.
Who all was present for that interview?
Myself and Detective McConnell
Where did that interview take place?
on the 6th floor of the Akron Police Department in the Detective Bureau.
Okay. And what was the defendant's appearance, demeanor during the interview?
He did not have a shirt on. He was, his head was shaved, face was shaved. He appeared to be scratching a lot, from what I had heard. He was in
I
a
told y'all
crawl
we're gonna
space,
see a lot of
so
scratching.
there was fiberglass insulation, so I assumed it was either that or the gas munitions that were deployed during the SWAT ordeal.
And approximately how long did that interview take place?
I would say about an hour.
Were you present for the whole interview?
Yes.
During that interview, the defendant's statement.
Ashley definitely had a warrant.
Defendant's statements.
Yes, it was a roller coaster
I
interview.
can't remember
Went
what
back
the
and forth
Brian
several
had a
times.
warrant.
Was there a point where
Let me
you
look at
noticed
my
the
notes.
discrepancies?
Let me hit mute
His
because I know
statement had
last night
changed?
y'all told me y'all could hear my
Yes.
notes. Hey,
Please
Mary
report
Carey,
about
thank you
that.
for joining.
So during the course of the interview, things were going back and forth, and we were trying to get the truth of the matter. And in doing so, I told Quinton Nixon that we have video of the incident, and at that point, that is when the storyline changed.
Okay. You didn't tell him whether it was video from the outside or inside of the apartment, did you?
No,
Okay, so he had no idea at that point in time.
not to my knowledge.
Okay, and what were, prior to you saying that,
To
did the
what
defendant
part
make
went
any
to
statements
the
about carrying a gun
hold
out of the
Let me
apartment?
push pause.
Yes,
And
Okay, Winter say to be fair, and we want to be fair, right? To be fair, we are not sure exactly if they did or did not. However, during the trial, they definitely would not volunteer that. It will be up. It will be up to Quinton to raise those questions. Okay, so are you talking about are you referring to the other people being possible persons of interest? Is that what you're talking about? Diamond say because they all look alike. And then Diamond say to incriminate him exactly. I think y'all talking about that part about the insinuate the potential persons of interest part I was talking about. Let me know.
did he say he carried a gun out of the apartment?
yes,
Now, after he told you he carried a gun, prior to that, did he state he had a gun?
I apologize. When you say prior to that, do you mean prior to me telling him that we have video?
Correct.
Okay, no. After
I didn't follow
we
that
told him
trial.
we had video,
Tamika.
he told us that he carried the gun in the purse out of the apartment building.
Okay. And, well, you know what? Have you had a chance to review that video?
Yes,
And does that video fairly and accurately represent the interview you had with the defendant on July 25th?
yes, it does.
I'm sorry, first of all, it wasn't July 25th. It was August 24th. I'm going to play you, Your Honor, what's been marked. And safety is in 87.
Okay, so this clip for the end. I'm gonna put up the next clip, and that's gonna be with the interrogation of our defendant, Quinton Nixon. Okay, so let me get that up. And now we finna start cooking with some grease. We're about to get into some meat and potatoes. Get y'all itch cream out, because he gonna be scratching, and he look real dirty. Hold on. And I just went to say yes. So that makes sense to me, because they're not going to just volunteer information. They're going to just answer the questions and volunteer what's pertinent to the case they're trying to make, which I totally get that, you know. I don't know. I'm trying to get this other clip. Hold on. Let me see. Let me hit mute. They don't have no weapon that was actually used at this point, Lady T. Nobody has said that. They only got the weapons that was found in that house in them 2 different rooms where they apprehended him at. And what was your other part? So you didn't miss that part. I didn't hear anybody but Adam say he shot her. Well, everybody else assumed he shot her, right? Angel assumed, but she didn't see him. Ashley assumed, but she didn't see him. Ronald assumed, but she didn't see him. Nobody say they saw. Not even Brian. But everybody say at one point in time they saw him with the gun to her head.
How much time it takes for in September for
okay,
review.
let me fast forward it. I recorded it twice. Okay, here we go. And the video is going to clear up, you guys. Okay? Okay, here we go. Oh, y'all can't see.
Objection, Your Honor.
Basis.
The
video going to
he
clear
said my
up.
statement is inconsistent is considered hearsay.
Overruled.
Uh-oh. Why y'all don't see? Oh.
I have State's Exhibit 87 up, and
It's going to fix itself.
as you can see, it's a dark room. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
In approximately 3 minutes and 6 seconds, you enter the room. Is that you?
Yes. Okay. So we'll use this room.
For the record, approximately 3:27, you go out. Two things before I sit down, Your Honor. Can you hear it? Well, okay.
I believe when it happens, it should be at that time, yes.
I don't know if that's on their side or my side, but none of my other clips did like this, so I don't know.
Yeah, I can hear it. Just double check.
Was that? Quinton, technical comments, technical one sec. You doing all right, Quinton? Need a napkin or something? You want water? You want water? Yeah. Yes, please.
Damn, I might have to go. I might have to play this from off the. I might have to play this from off the channel. Let me see if I got the timestamp. I'm sure that timestamp where I can go right through
All
it.
right, sir. First name's Quinton? Yes, sir. How you spell your first name? Quinton. And your last name's Nixon? Yes, sir. N-I-X?
Yeah, I might have to. It might be my recording. Let me see. Okay, so we're gonna go to plan B, okay? Let me get into plan B because we definitely want to see this, okay? So let me do something real quick. Let me go on mute and let me do something.
Do you have any other witnesses? Do you have any other witnesses? You're resting subject to the admission of your evidence?
Correct.
All righty. It is 1:45. We are due to begin our other trial at 1:30, but we are going to go ahead and
Telling Adam Wright that I was high on
Okay.
Okay, so I found it. Hold on. I mean, I got it. I'm just trying to put the window up. Add source. Window capture. Let's add a new source. Oh no, that's it. That's it right there. Oh no, no, no. Oh Lord. Okay. Okay, add a new source. Alright. Let me say YouTube window. Okay. Let me close. Oh, I be moving too fast. I'm too impatient. And then I get to clicking buttons and shit, and it was just pulling it up. Mm-mm-mm. What QB say? Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. QB say, mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Okay, window capture, add source. Don't move too fast. Boom, there you go. Okay, let me move it where y'all can see it. Y'all should see the screen. Make it big. Okay. Let me clean it up like this. Uh-oh. Why it's not doing? Oh well, fuck it. Okay, y'all should be able to see the screen. Now I gotta make sure I share the audio. Hold on one moment. Let me see. Okay. Let me put my this over this. Okay, that way I can try to avoid a copyright. My honey up and there watching the game. Okay, so let me push play. I gotta make this screen smaller. Okay. Uh-oh. Here we go. Let's see if we got action. I'm gonna push play and then I'm gonna tell y'all, and y'all let me know if y'all can hear it.
What's that?
No, I'm hot. I mean, I'm cold. I don't have a shirt. Thank you, though. I'm cold.
Yeah, we're just.
Uh-oh, y'all don't see nothing?
Fuck.
Uh-oh. Okay, hold on. I don't know why y'all don't see nothing. Hold on. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna see this. Okay. Chrome. I believe
What's that?
shit. Okay, hold on, y'all.
Good
Y'all can
question,
hear it?
Detective McConnell, Detective Hornacek.
Okay, so I'm missing something I'm not doing. Let me see. And this is why I make the clips. Okay. Let me calm down and slow down. First of all, I'm clicking too many goddamn buttons. Too fast. Let me slow down. Cancel that. Okay. Delete this. Okay, yeah, but y'all gotta see it. So, I'll get it. Let me see. Let me add it back in. Yeah, y'all shouldn't be hearing nothing right now because I stopped it. So y'all shouldn't hear anything. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to throw those windows away because they're not right. So I won't have too many things up here. Okay, I'm gonna add it back in. Add source. Add a window capture. Add source. Oh, I should have said new. Okay, add a new one. Boom. Okay. Now I want to pick this one. Bam. Okay. Now y'all should be able to see this window. I don't think I got my phone. Okay. This window should be coming up. Let me see on my phone. What happened was my clip of the interrogation was bad, so I had to go to YouTube and actually try to stream it. And I've been doing that piece for a second here. I actually have it up. I don't see it on my phone. Do y'all see that screen? Let me, oh, okay, there you go. There you go. Okay, hold on, let me fix it. Okay. Okay, so y'all should be able to see it on the screen. I'm gonna make it bigger. Okay. Now I'm gonna push play, and y'all can let me know if y'all can hear it. Hold on.
You doing all right, bud? You need a napkin or something? You want water? You want water or something?
That's Quinton. Can y'all hear? Can y'all see and hear it? This is after the SWAT. Ooh, y'all, thank y'all for y'all patience. Thank y'all for y'all patience with me. Okay? Sometimes I just really need to slow down.
First name is Quinton?
Yes, sir.
How do you spell your first name?
Quinton.
And your last name is Nixon?
Yes, sir.
N-I-X-O-N?
Yes, sir.
What's your birthday, sir?
July 18th, 1991.
Let me push pause.
Do you have a permanent address?
Okay, is it buffering on y'all end? I pushed pause. Is it buffering for you guys, or is it okay?
You normally stick around the Akron area? Okay.
I have kids here.
You have kids here? Okay. You have a phone number?
No, sir.
No phone?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. All right. Mr. Nixon, I'm going to talk to you about what you're up here for, but before we do that, obviously, we have to read your Miranda warnings. So once we read this, just say yes or no whether you understand, all right? You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand that? Sure. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You have the right to talk to a lawyer to have him or her present with you while you're being questioned. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You cannot afford to hire a lawyer who won't be appointed to represent you before any question that you wish. Understand that? You can decide to answer these. You can decide to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Do you understand that?
Yes.
What? How do you spell your last name?
Nixon, N-I-X-O-N, like the president.
What's your birthday?
It's in July 18th, 1991.
What year?
1991.
And what's your address?
I was living with my mom.
Is that inaccurate here?
Yeah, she used to live at 787 Rivers, East River.
787 East Wood?
Yes.
Man, I see a lot of buffering. On my phone, I see a lot of buffering. Is it buffering on y'all end? It's got to be buffering on y'all end. My phone, I'm seeing the same thing y'all seeing on the phone. Damn. Let me see what y'all saying. Man. So, y'all see buffering. Okay. That's why I do the clips, because when I try to share it, it buffers. I know. Look. Well, it's clear now, but when I push play, it buffers. I'm going to push play. Watch.
Sir.
Do you have a phone number in there?
No,
Yeah,
sir.
it buffers when I push play. And that's what we needed to do.
You on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that?
Yes, sir, but I've been locked out of it for a long time now.
You have any idea why you're up here?
Yeah.
You do? Why are you up here?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. My head is hurting. I just bashed my shit.
Do you remember being at Angel's house a couple weeks ago?
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah. You know what we're talking about. You want to tell us what happened?
Man. Y'all, we can't do it like this. We can't do it like this. We can't do it like this. So, apparently, when I record it, I cannot record this interrogation on 2 times speed, which I've been doing. Okay? Let me pull this back up. Let me see something here. I'm going to try one other thing. I'm going to try one other deal here. With my recording, my clip I made. Because the clip that was doing all that stuff, it didn't even come. Hold on, let me see. I got another clip with the interrogation. Let me see if I got it from the very beginning. And it looked different. That one clip that I was playing that gave me the problem with the blurriness, that's the only one that looked different in my files. So that's the one that's corrupted. That's my new word, corrupted, okay? Let me see if this one here, hopefully.